right, Marty. Let's take a look at one of your games. It's been a week, and I definitely miss reviewing your games because now I'm starting to get used to putting other content on the website or the
Yeah, yeah,
YouTube,
yeah.
and so like it's just not editing your reviews anymore, or the other guys. It's more than that now. But anyway, let's take a look at your game. So before I just get into my little notes. Any thoughts on this fight with Kdar you had? Any thoughts on the game itself?
So he asked for, and I was happy to play a 40-minute game. So it was plenty of time. I did what you suggested. I watched a basic a dark,
Back to basics, Dwyron's
yeah,
video.
Byron's video ahead of the game, and I tried to think carefully before I moved. And I know what happened was there was this vast area in the middle, and I thought I had enough of it. And there was just a point, and we're moving along here. I can tell you where it is, where he puts a white stone in the middle of the board. And now, and I
Yeah.
go, huh, like, okay. And I thought, well, can they really live? What's he going to do? But it was this point where I didn't know what to do, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And so we'll talk about it. I mean, of course, I look at the local moves and shape and stuff, but
Yeah.
just as a general like thought, like especially at this point, maybe you needed to be more aggressive here on the outside. So
Yeah.
playing one of these moves would help this stone, right, and this stone, and then hurt these stones. But I think you let it go, right? Yeah, you started playing over here. And so once he starts building a wall like this, now he's making these stones very safe, right? And
Yeah.
as if they're
And
safe,
he
then
and
that's it.
yeah, yeah. And when he played one of the three stones next to my now straight wall, I had really wanted to jump in there. I mean, it was literally my next move. So he did a good job.
Mm. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the game as a whole.
Okay.
Of course, you had handicap stones, but I think for like over 100 moves, you had the lead. And then it just slipped away once you lived in the center there because now you
Yeah.
couldn't make enough points to win the game. But let's take a look. So you're opening, it's good. This is all good. And this is kind of like the first questionable move. Like
Okay.
you go for a double approach, which is fine, because you can build this way or this way. But the thing about it is these three stones, they don't have a base yet. And
Yep.
so it makes me feel like uncomfortable. So to invite him to cause some chaos here, I think it would be much easier for you to either come back. This is very old school style way. And
Okay.
I think modernly computers would rather you play here. But you could still play, in the human way, making five space extensions. Or I think just settling here would be good.
Okay. I
You know?
certainly thought about it. Yeah.
Yeah, because once you settle here, after if we just do the most basic stuff, right? Like let's say white makes a base here and then, we keep plugging along. You can see that you can start to make like a wall for both groups, right? Like a base for both groups, which
Yep.
feels nice. Um, and if he pushes this way, it's still fine because you're still making a base here for this group. And then as long as this group becomes strong, this group's going to become more stronger too. Um, so that's mainly it. But I think the double approach made a more complicated game. I don't think it's a problem. Like, I don't think it's a mistake, but I'm just saying it's becoming more complicated now.
Okay.
This is something you usually see the white player do in handicap games, right? I do this to
Right.
you all the time. And that's
Right.
because the double approach usually makes things a bit complicated. So he played to make his wall face your wall. So, he's behind two stones, so I can't really say too much about it. I actually really like this move a lot. It was trying to get him into this shape, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is a really good move. I like this. And when he gave you the Panuki, this was too good for you. So you got an amazing result here with this move. So I think you did fantastic with this. Um, yep, and you sealed him in, right? So this must have felt really good.
Yes, yes, I
I'd
was happy with this.
yeah, I'd be really happy too. This was a mistake. He should definitely try and come out, I think.
Yeah,
This just makes him bunker down, which is awful for him. It sounds like you got a call. You need to take that.
no, I don't know what it is. I'm just going to make it quiet.
Okay. All right. So at this point, you got a double seal, and this is pretty much the best thing you can do in the game. Like if you seal off your opponent, especially on both sides, you should feel really good. Did you feel good at this moment?
I did.
Okay, good. That means that you're really getting a sense for the game. So at this point, you were winning by a mile. Your opening for your first 30 moves was nearly perfect. You opened it up for some complications, and he got confused, and you did a good job. I mean, he might argue he wasn't confused because I do know Kdar, but from what I can tell, you did a great job. You're clearly winning the opening. This is okay. I don't mind this. Is fine. This is good. And usually I tell you I hate this move, but in this case it's great. And I'm sure you knew that as well.
Yep.
I'm sure that's why you chose it because you have such thickness here now. It's good to expand this moyo. So I like this. And you then chose to attack on this side, and that is pushing this guy into your thickness. Is that your plan?
Yes, that was the plan.
I don't I do like it. Usually you want to push your opponent into thickness. Another option would be to take a base from him completely. So a
Yeah.
lot of the times when we talk about this push to thickness, they usually have the option to make a two space base in two different directions, right? And so then
Mm.
we have a choice of which way we want to push them, and pushing them towards the thickness is always correct. I think in this case, because you can just outright make him lose his base, you
Okay.
could choose this one if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I do see it could also be pushing him into your potential Moyo. But I think I think something like this would be really good for black because as he comes out, you come out. And then it's going to be a running battle fight, right? But I think you have all the advantage because you have strength on this side and strength on this side. So this
Okay.
is one way you could have gone, but I don't think this is really a mistake. I think this is fine. Allowing him to maybe it's even better in a way because you pretty much get to seal him in again. The problem was you played this. Oops, I
Yes.
just
Yes. I,
punched.
I saw this on the AI. I don't know what's wrong with it.
I got so excited I just punched the mic. So sorry if there was a spike there. But yeah, this is a very bad move. You asked what is wrong with it, right?
Yeah.
Well, you're in a running battle right now,
Yeah. I
and
thought
he
it was
attached.
a vital point.
Yes, but he attached to you, right? And so this is the golden attachment rule, right? This is a
Yeah.
rule that we
Yeah.
talk about all the time. By playing this, one, he can Atari you first,
Yeah.
and you would have to answer.
Yeah.
And then he can kind of connect here or come out, right? And
Mm,
if he wants to sacrifice these stones, he can. And so he can try and make a lighter group here.
mm.
Or if he goes for the heavy group, this could become a thing, right? We know this is a whole different game, but very similar to what happened. The
Yeah.
point is
Yeah.
he gets this Atari on you first, so it
Yeah.
gives him quite a lot of options, right?
Yeah.
If he was to play something like this, then he can come back and you can see he's just out more, right? He's separating you.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
stone's pretty weak now, and
Yeah.
there's some shenanigans with like some cutting points here. Um,
Mm.
so instead, the vital point is here actually as well, mind you.
Okay.
Because if this is the two stones or the three
Yeah.
stones, right? If
Yeah.
white makes a shape here, this is the table shape, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so this is actually the true vital point here. But once
Okay.
again, it's just the understanding of how important it is to stay in front of your opponent in your
Yeah.
running battles and not to leave
Yeah.
yourself weak, right? Because if
So
you
the
leave
AI had said like a quadruple Hane. What does that even mean?
ah, well, the idea is that well, this is technically a double Hane, right? Because this I wouldn't count this one. So here's
Okay.
the first Hane and here's the second. Now we
Okay.
always talk about double Hanes, and if that you can get away with it, right, then most of the time you should do it. Because if he Ataris you, you just become stronger. And if he Ataris you, you become stronger. And now he has two major weaknesses, right? So
Yep.
he has to fix. And now you get in front of him. Doesn't this look good for black?
Yep.
Does black
Yeah.
have any weaknesses at all?
Well, no, but there's the cutting stone. I mean, I guess you'd have to the two number two.
Yeah, yeah, but this I wouldn't worry about, right? Because you have strength here and here. So you
Yeah.
can just kind of just kill him,
I
right?
see. I see. Okay.
Um,
It looked like a silly shape, I guess.
yeah, I think you still don't have a full grasp on the double Hane. Maybe I can find a Weichi 101 problem set,
Okay.
but and I advise looking through the James Davies book and find the double Hane Tetsuji.
Oh, I have
Um
the book right here, Michael.
awesome. But yeah, we talk about this almost every game pretty much. Anytime
Yeah.
there's a running
Yeah.
battle, this
Yeah.
opportunity usually comes out. The idea is that you're so powerful here. There's nothing he can do to harm you, right? There's nothing he can do to mess with your shape. And when he backs off, when he messes up and does something that, you know, isn't a part of this running battle, then you get to take full advantage, right?
Right.
And so it's so important to stay ahead of your opponent. This is a
Yeah.
very
And
important concept.
I did miss the rule of attachment. I understand that now.
Yeah, leaving the running battle is not a good idea. This is something we do address all the time. So yeah, you left the running battle.
Yeah.
Now he played here. I would have taken the Atari first, but he
Yeah.
played here. And then because you didn't want to get Atari, right, like this,
Yeah.
you played this. And so
Yeah.
now, yeah, I wrote he doesn't have a weakness, right? And so the idea is when you poked here, it just
Yeah.
helped him get stronger. And you have a
But it looked,
weakness.
yeah. I see. I was happy with this because it looks silly, right? He has this like
He does,
4 stone worm.
yeah, he does have an empty triangle, but you have a weakness here that you have to address now.
Yeah.
And so because you can't double Hane, I wrote shame for shame,
Yeah.
shame for shame. But it is what it is. But I just want you to understand that when you're in
Okay.
running battles
Yes.
and
Yep.
golden attachment, you want to keep
Yeah.
the fight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to, play a move like this.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
Okay.
So he did some forcing moves to get some ice space. And at this time, he doesn't have two eyes here.
Yes.
And so you can actually break this, and so
Yeah.
that he can never have two eyes here.
Michael, I looked at this and I thought, oh, do it later. Your group isn't happy either.
And that's the thing that you missed here. So yes, you got cut, right?
Yeah.
But at any point, you have two eyes. You could even play this one and you have two eyes.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about this black group safety. And on this side, you also have huge eye potential and
Yep.
expansion, right?
Yep. Yep.
And
I wasn't
so,
worried. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was worried, but not. I mean, when you say, oh, who's weaker? I thought, well, the one on the left is weaker, not the one on the right.
yeah, but
I didn't
this,
realize. I didn't realize I had two eyes already.
yeah, yep, you had two ways to get two eyes. And so this group is actually very powerful. And so
Yeah.
that's why you can play something very powerful, right? This is
So, but I
devastating to
thought he
win.
could Hane here. I think that's what it was, right? If he
Uh,
up 12B, I see, but I can capture it. Can I? There.
yeah, you could just capture them.
I
He,
see. Okay.
he's just dead, right? And you have
Yeah.
two eyes now.
Yeah. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah,
Bad news.
so White's best choice would be if you took his eye space, would be to try and run out, and
Yeah.
you just continue to harass this group.
Yeah.
Um, the computer recommended the diagonal jump here, which was
Mm.
pretty cool. This isn't something I would have came up with. I'd play something more like this or this, right?
Mm.
But the computer really liked this move, and it said White would play something like this, and you would be able to come down. And so now your groups are pretty much connected, and he's struggling here. He's struggling a lot, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
still doesn't have two eyes here.
Yeah.
And even if he does live and make two eyes, you're making a lot of thickness and moyo here. Like if you get another move down here, this is really good for black.
Yeah.
Um, so first hitting this mark would have been much more important. This move here was telling me that you were worried about, as you said, this safety.
Yeah.
And so we have to keep an eye on,
Yeah.
do we need to protect this, right?
Yes. Yes.
Uh, we've discussed before that if you get cut, you should assess both groups. And if they're both alive, then you don't have to worry about this cut
I
because,
mean, yeah, I
yeah,
didn't realize. So
yeah.
this, I just didn't realize that the one on the left was alive.
Yeah, no worries. That's why we're here, right? Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, having this Panuki on this line, right? The second line always usually gives you options to play here or here to make the
Yeah.
second eye. So
Yeah.
this Panuki is like gold, this is why they call it worth 30 points because
Yeah.
it's usually so versatile.
Yeah.
It's very, really good. Um, but you played this, and this is another big mistake here. I was really shocked to see this one.
Oh.
I guess you wanted to protect yourself from being cut off, right? You
Yep.
didn't want
Yep.
to just play something and then you get cut here, right?
Exactly.
But if you did, I mean, you can Atari. You got a lot of options. You can Atari. You could even just give up these two stones, right, and then just kill this. Well,
Mm.
technically he would live if he gets this move, so maybe not kill it per se, but if you played something like this, you could attempt to. Yeah, I think this would be fine. Because now you just play something like this and Atari and
Well,
he's
yeah.
dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, there was a lot of opportunity to kill this
Yeah.
group multiple
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Bad
Um,
assessment. Yes.
so yeah, this felt way too slow.
Yeah.
Like I understand this if you didn't assess that this was
Yeah.
alive,
Yeah.
but this
Yeah.
one was really slow. Um, for me, my first instinct was to play here, right? Because what I need to do is keep the attack on this and keep
Yep.
my group strong.
Yep.
So this would have been my assessment, but the computer said this was more, it's just better.
Yeah.
So once white hits here now, it feels like you have to do something, but you
Yeah.
actually don't. He doesn't have anything yet on you. What can he do, right? If he plays here, you're fine. If he plays here and here, you're still actually fine, right? You're still fine
Right.
because it's gonna
Right.
take him another move.
Right.
If he plays this, yeah, you're still fine. There's nothing he can
Yeah.
do. So this
Yeah.
was too slow of a
Too
protection,
slow.
this
I
bamboo
see that.
joint. It's
Yeah.
good shape, but if it's unnecessary, then it's
Yeah.
unnecessary. You
Yeah.
should go for more.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I put these markers here,
Yeah.
and the idea is which side is more important for you to play in. So I'm asking you this now. Well, is it better for black to play something over here, or is it better for black to play something over here?
So I thought on top.
Okay. Yeah, that is the correct way, but I don't think you played that. Yeah, you played over here.
Oh, I see. Well, yes. Okay.
So
But
the
then I
I
thought I was, see, then I thought I was threatening to cut him off, not realizing that he was dead.
Yeah, now white can live. So if you play this, white can, I believe this will make two eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, so even with this move, white still can make two eyes. Um, but when you play on this side,
yeah,
it damages this side extremely, right? Like if white gets another move over here, which he does right
yeah,
here,
yeah,
now
yeah.
you like have to crawl, right? And
Right,
this
right,
isn't what
right.
you want here, right? You
I
want
yes,
this, right?
yes,
You
I
want to
see.
make a lot of territory and
Yeah,
you want to keep pressure on this group.
yep,
So what I can tell you and take away from this is one, you have a weak group, right? It's fairly surrounded.
yep,
So you want to strengthen it. That's the first thought.
yep,
The
yep,
second thought, right? And the second priority I always tell you is to look for your opponent's weak groups. This is a very weak group, right?
yes,
Because black
yes,
is almost fully surrounding it. It really just needs this much and then it will surround it, right? And so continuing the attack on this is really good. So with this move for black, this is not only continuing the attack, but it's also helping a weak group.
yep, yep,
This
yep,
is by far the most important area of the game here.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I was really shocked to see you come back. I mean, I understand what you were going for, but I would be so afraid when white plays something like this
Mm.
because now, if white plays this, you can't play here, right? And so this
Right,
means that this isn't an eye, so you only have one eye.
right,
So this is really scary now for black.
yeah,
But black can't technically live. I mean, well, I'm sure it will because white has its weaknesses, right? Like white
yeah,
can't just overly aggressively attack. But if white even just plays this and forces you into submission and
yeah,
gote, then
yeah,
this is devastating, right? This used to be your potential, and
right,
now it's
right,
just a two
right,
point,
right, right,
group.
right.
So not helping your weak group here was I was really shocked. Um this is a great move. I put at the marker that it is a great seal-in move. The computer wanted it a while ago.
Michael, I was playing the game and I said, I know the computer's saying, make that move.
Yeah, it's hitting the head of two stones. It seals in your opponent. It is a great move. But as for the timing, like I said, this is much more important.
Yeah, yeah,
It's building lots of territory and saving your group and hurting his group. It's doing three
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, you did get the seal. Once again, you missed the double hane.
Uh-huh.
This is something you
But
know,
okay, but wait, if I isn't this one of these things that I shouldn't do? Like, okay, I go there, okay, and then I go there, and then he takes that stone.
and then you double Atari.
Ooh,
So if he takes this, you kill all these stones pretty much. Well, I mean,
oops.
he lives here, but in Gote, right?
Yeah.
And so now you can start harassing this group or something.
Ah,
So
wow.
you still
Okay.
gain quite a lot from
Yes,
this.
yes, yes. I missed
Uh,
that.
yeah. So the double hane, you always want to use if there's a double threat here, right? So we can see here as well that if he doesn't move, right, if he plays somewhere else, then you get to pretty much double Atari in a sense, right? You can Atari and then kill this.
Yeah,
Or of course you can go for the whole pie, which would be just as good, right? This is really nice.
yeah, yeah.
So this double
Mm,
Hane comes with a double threat. So
mm,
this means that he's gonna have to protect, and it gives you
mm,
the time to protect or continue forward, right? So
mm.
that's why the double Hane is so good. And then in the same instance, here's the double threat, right? Here's the same exact thing
Yes, yes,
where you
yeah,
hit him on the head and then you him on the head again.
yeah,
This is generally where it's always safe to do the double hane because there's going to be huge consequences if he plays anywhere else.
yeah.
Even if he plays this is good for you. The latter might not work, but he's going to have still a hard time struggling with this stone. So that's it.
Okay.
But yeah, you miss the double Hane Tetsujis
Yep,
quite often. So
yep.
it's something I would definitely go out of my way to look up lots of examples
Yes,
and problems for.
yes. Yes.
Yeah, this was devastating. It really is painful to see. White could have taken it to the next level and really hurt you, but White
Yeah.
played here. So at this point now, with every move, you could still play here and actually kill White.
Yeah.
With this stone now, you're really sealing in White.
Right.
So I was very shocked neither player played this. I kind of feel why, at least for you, because this was urgent, right? Um, and you coming out to make more eye space is urgent, so I get it. I think at this point, you are alive, and
Yeah.
so then you can come back to take the kill.
Yeah.
Um, but instead you played here, which makes you more safe, but you were already safe.
Who
And
knew?
then you had the option. So do you remember what this shape is called?
Yes, the dead five. I do.
Yeah, the bulky five. It's yeah, the book calls it the bulky five shape.
So I thought, okay, he's dead. Wait, didn't I play in there? Wait, what did I do,
No,
Michael?
you played over here.
Okay, but that he has to answer that.
Okay, and then you go into Gote, and
I
now
see.
he can live actually. I don't know why he
What
didn't
does
live.
he do?
He still gave you the option to
And what
kill.
did I do?
Yeah, over here. And then I think he lives at some point. Like look at how long the game is, right?
Okay, but I
Oh,
go first. I
yeah.
just want to say that. Okay.
So you do go first,
And
but
why is
then
he dead?
all you have to do now, can you figure out what to do? What's Black's next move?
Well, he must have missed it. Descend, right? Go down B8.
Yes. And
What
then
did I do? Oh crap.
and then he made two eyes.
Yeah. I so okay. In fairness to me, I knew it was a dead shape,
Yeah.
but I didn't kill it.
It's these that are really painful to see as a teacher, right? Like as a teacher, it's painful. Um, so
Sorry,
yeah, like
sorry.
you even found the move, right? It took you like 60 moves, but you found it, and
Okay,
then
okay.
and then it was the wrong timing, mind you. This became more important. So we'll talk about that when we
Well,
get
I would
there.
have won the game if I'd killed that group, to be fair.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. But yeah, it was painful as a teacher.
I'm sorry.
For
I'm a
me to
bad
see,
I'm a
yeah,
bad student.
yeah, for me to like this is if there's six life and deaths you should know, this is one of them, right?
I do
Like,
know it. I
yeah,
do know it. I know it's dead.
yeah.
It's dead.
But
And I
it's
knew it was dead.
but I think I think you thought that it was dead automatically, but you have to understand that it's not, right? This is whoever
No,
plays first, it's dead. So if White plays here, he's alive. There's no way to stop his life.
right.
And so this is I forget what they call this term, but there's alive, dead, and then unsettled. That's the term.
Yes, it's
So
unsettled. Right.
the
I see. I guess I thought it was dead.
yeah, yeah, you thought it was dead outright. And apparently he did too, because he never saved it, which shocks me. Like shocks me. You guys are almost single digit Q. You guys should know the bulky five shape. But yeah, just keep it in mind. Yeah.
I just want to say, Michael,
Mhm.
I was an excellent student at school. This is just killing me. I mean,
No,
I,
it's no worries, Marty.
I graduated Phi Beta Kappa from a good university.
That's awesome. I like that. All right. Well, no worries, Marty. Obviously,
All
the
right.
more we
Okay.
play,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's like I'm not trying to rash you at all. I'm just asking, like, do you do any life and death or Tetsuji problems like at
I
any
do.
point of the week? Okay.
Yes. And what I realized this this is a case in which, I'm a really good student of math.
Mhm.
Someone says, learn this, I can learn that. but I think part of this is that there's just so much stuff that I think is fun. And
Mhm,
there's so much stuff on YouTube
mhm.
that like I go, okay, I'll do this for a while. Okay, let's do this for a while so that I'm not as focused as I
Mm.
might be.
Yeah, no, I understand completely. And it's good that you're just enjoying yourself, right? Because this is just a casual thing. This isn't really like obviously you're not getting an academic grade, right?
Thank
So
God.
it's just it's just for fun. But I was just generally curious because I think especially at your level, the most important thing you can be doing is getting your reading strength up,
Yep,
right? And to do that, you need to learn your life and deaths, and you
yep,
need to learn your tetsujis, right? You need to learn the double hane. You need to learn the bulky five is unsettled.
yep,
So if you want to progress, the most best way to do so is to read through the life and death book, read through the tetsuji book, and do try and find problems for them. The stronger you are at reading, the better of a Go player you are. And I think that getting down the basics is important. You
yep,
have, I give you lots and lots and lots of fundamental and basics, right?
yep, yep.
Um, but the reading is very, very important. If you combine the two, then you're going to become a single digit player very soon. So that's all I'll say about that for now. But yeah, I was very shocked neither of you guys played
Yeah,
this. This is a very
yeah,
important and very basic, I think, life and death. All right, so you kept all your groups connected, so very Dwyron of you. It's very good. I didn't see a problem with this. I like this shape a lot, and this is okay. You could have gone with this, because he's gonna have to answer,
yeah.
and then you can kind of just leave it alone because this becomes a thank you move.
I
I
see.
think even now this is a thank you move because the idea is if you got into a co-fight somewhere, right? Like if you're in a
Yep,
co-fight,
yep,
you could play something like this or this, and it's definitely co-threats, right?
yep, yep,
And so this move kind of takes away a co-threat. It's helping him fix himself.
yeah, yeah,
You could argue this move's helping him fix himself, but it's Sente, right? Like if he doesn't answer, he's going to be in a lot of trouble,
yeah,
right? And so he should answer, and then you can just continue on with your life, right? You can start harassing
yeah,
these more. Um, so yeah, that's all I can say. This move is kind of helping him and not really hurting him.
yeah,
And then this move was free for the taking, and it's worth at least like 4 or 5 points. If you felt it was too slow, that's fine, but know that he can Atari you and Sente, and
yep,
now you have a
yep,
stupid shape. So
yeah.
this is more than just
It's
like an
it's a
end game.
first line move, and that's why I didn't do it. I just thought, I'm not supposed to do those till later.
Yeah, which is true. But what it does is it prevents you from going into bad
Yeah,
shape and
yeah,
puts him
yeah,
in bad shape, right?
yeah,
If he has to
yeah,
make an empty triangle here, this
yeah,
is really ugly.
yeah,
And if you have to make an empty, if you have to make an empty triangle here,
yeah,
this is very ugly for you.
yeah,
So
yeah.
this is more than just, you know,
Yes.
uh, yeah, more than, yeah, exactly, more than an end game. It's about preventing and giving bad shape.
Yeah.
Um, this idea is really good. This is exactly how you should use the stone with this wall. So very good. Very good. And this is fine. It's very good, I think. I think you got the best out of these exchanges. You're doing really well here, very clearly that this is becoming something very large. And I'm sure that was your plan when you played this move, right?
Yep. Yep.
So very good. You're still, I think, far in the lead at this point. It was at this moment.
Yeah. This is I know this is where things went to hell.
I think you could play this instead. This move, I think, actively is hurting this one a bit more, and it still
Yeah.
protects here.
Yep.
If he cuts, you just, bamboo, right?
Yeah.
So this is just a very small little thing, but this one doesn't have any effect on this one. In
Yes,
fact,
yes,
this is just the 3 stones getting hit on the vital point now.
yeah,
So I think that this would have been better.
yeah.
Um, this peep here, you don't actually have to connect, I
Yeah,
think.
I wondered because I know that everyone's alive, everyone's connected.
Hmm. And that's exactly what you want to think about, right? And so remember how I told you here, if you have a group that's alive and a group that's alive, you don't have to worry about this
Right,
cutting stone.
right,
It's
right.
the same concept here. So
Yeah.
this group is definitely alive, right?
Well, it's
And
attached to the one above, so definitely alive.
yeah, and then this group, even though it doesn't have 2 eyes, it has so much room to run and friends to meet, right? And so
Yeah,
this you
yeah,
can consider is also alive. So
yeah,
that means that this cut actually isn't really scary at all. White can
yeah,
cut here. So
yeah,
instead you can counterattack him and keep him looking stupid, right? And then try and make sure he can't connect to his group. And
yeah,
if he runs away like this, and you keep chasing him, um, he's not making eyes right now, right? And
yeah.
he's actually hurting himself because as you make more influence, this group is starting to become in question. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So go
So
back to so you make it a shoulder hit.
yeah, this is just off the top of my head. If you wanted to be more conservative, you could play something like this. My
Yeah.
idea is when I see this stone, I have to find a way to counterattack it. So I
Yes,
look through
yes,
my
yes.
shapes. I look through
Okay.
my shapes to attack it.
Okay.
Maybe the most aggressive one is this, right? We use 1 jumps to attack, right? We use 1 jumps, knights moves, and shoulder hits. These
Yeah.
are the 3 attacks we usually use. We
Yeah.
don't touch our opponent, right? That'll make it
Right.
stronger.
Right.
So we usually use these 1 jumps, night moves, and shoulder hits. So this move is very aggressive because it's just cutting these off directly. So this is fine too, right? Because what's white going to do? White has very few options.
Yeah.
If white jumps this way, you can jump this way or you can jump this way because you can still connect here. If he cuts you, you jump here. If he plays like this, you can always connect if you need to, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this is definitely a very good and aggressive way to attack because it's pushing white into your thickness.
Yeah.
This move was the first that came to mind. I think my idea was to chain these two, right? Chain these
Yeah.
2 groups so they don't
Yeah.
have any eye potential and then start attacking it as a whole. And maybe this is overly aggressive. Maybe this is too much. So maybe this is better. But the idea remains the most important thing to take away from these is not the individual moves per se, but the
Yeah.
idea of them, the fundamental idea. And the idea is that this cut isn't scary. So you
Yeah.
don't need to submit. You
Yeah.
anytime that somebody threatens a peep, evaluate if the cut is scary, right? If he cuts now, you'll just kill him, right?
Yeah.
So he's gonna have to run away and continue to run away, right? If he cuts at any point, you're just gonna kill him.
Yeah.
So the counterattack is so important to understand. This should help you level up as well. So your idea was, I think, then to split these 2 groups,
Yeah.
which is a good
Yeah.
idea.
And yet,
And yet, and yet, so this is where your whole battle was here. This is the importance of this battle. This battle is for the game itself, right? This is
yeah.
for the
Yes.
center. When we
Yep. Yep.
assess the board, black has a very small amount of territory here, small amount of territory here. Um, it's becoming smaller because white's here now, right?
Yeah.
And so black doesn't have a lot of points on this board. So the most important thing in this game is taking the center, which you spent
Right.
all this time building, right? You built the wall here,
Yes.
here, here,
Yes.
and here. So this is
Yes.
the most important part of the game. And you totally just tanukied, right? You just left the situation. You need to understand how important it was to continue this fight here. This is the most important thing in the whole entire game. And for you to leave it gives
Yeah.
white a second move out here,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like, I guess technically you got sent out of this, But white shouldn't have responded. White's already dead. White white needs to understand that white is dead, right?
Yeah.
So white shouldn't have responded and then played something like this or anything to protect its group, because once white lives here, you lose, right? And
Yeah.
so Kdar really missed, like, I can't believe he gave you Sente here. But I can't believe you came back here anyway, right? This is the most important fight. So I'm like really shocked. So two variations was one, you can directly just cut these groups,
Yeah.
right, and continue
Okay.
the fight. And we see white jumps, you can poke, and now these are dead, right? He can't connect to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you come out here to continue to attack this group. So as long as you keep stretching out, this group is starting to become dead, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so this is one ideal, probably the move I would have picked. The
Mm.
computer recommended this move, I think, the most. This one is pretty cool. I would have definitely hit the head of two stones, but this one's cool too. So white comes down, then black hits the head of these two stones.
Mm.
Once again, they're starting to become dead. And white then asks, can I make these live? Black says no. And then, the variation ends here, but you can see that white's getting into this territory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that is mainly it. But the understanding of like what is important and what is not
Yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
that this area is much bigger than this kill.
Yeah.
And this area you've focused on for so many moves. For you to
Yep.
Tanuki here, it was just, I was very
I,
shocked.
yeah. I think because I thought that the guys on my stones on the right would be able to get in there. I mean that, I could keep him small enough because although I have no territory, neither does he.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Um,
But I didn't. But I mean, he got there first. He did a good job of preventing me from moving from the right to left.
hmm. Yeah, yeah. So you chose this one. Was this your idea? You were saying this? You're trying to get into here?
No, because I thought, well, I might be able to kill them. That's
Hmm.
so that was that. Okay, and now, okay, well, I didn't kill him. All right, great. But
Yeah, so what this did was help him live, right? He's making a
yeah,
lot of space.
yeah,
And then your wall isn't doing anything because this is undercut, so you can't make
right,
territory
right,
here.
right,
So
right.
all these moves are just helping him and hurting you.
Yeah,
And so it was this design of playing here that was really bad. You needed to continue to fight this group,
yeah,
which in turn helps fight against this group.
yeah,
So that's mainly it for this one, Marty.
yeah. So
If
I know that I shocked you several times, but there were the things that I liked about the game was I didn't do anything stupid. I mean, I made misjudgments, right?
yeah,
And and I think that's a better bad thing than stupidity.
yeah. I mean, what I can say is your opening was very strong, right? Like you getting this Finuki, you getting this double seal, like you can't do better than this. This is the best you can do in the game.
Yeah,
So you were doing really well, and what killed you or made you lose, I think was what I was telling you about with this Tanuki here.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you lost
yeah,
the important goal here,
yeah.
and then that's
Right,
what
right,
made you
right,
lose.
right.
Um, Other than that, not helping your weak group and not keeping up the fight is
Yeah,
what hurt you as well. So that
yeah,
those are the main. That's like
yeah,
the main understanding of this game in particular was in both times where you needed to kind of help your weak group and fight, you Tanuki'd away from it, right? So here's the first instance of that. And then what we talked about, was the other part, right?
yeah, yeah,
I mean, here's another Tanuki-able fight, right? Which you
yeah.
needed, both players needed this move. And then finally, like I said, how important this part was.
Yeah.
So, um, yeah, that's hopefully by pointing it out, you'll keep your mind on the fight and weak groups. But
Yeah.
essentially, this group is really weak and can
Yes.
still be used to fight
Yes.
significantly. Like you can use this to fight,
Yeah.
even if it just gets killed, right? Like even if it just simply just dies like this,
Right.
you getting these two stones has greatly helped destroy the eye potential here for these
Yeah.
stones.
Yeah.
Um, and this is the most important part of the board. So,
Yeah.
all right, Marty. Any other questions or thoughts on this?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
Nope.